Hello there, my name is Thompson and this teaching video is called the bottom line. The bottom line is used by accountants all of the time and it's money in, money out, and then there's a bottom line and that gives you your profit or your loss or whatever. This video is about my interpretation of the bottom line. It's not about accounts, it's about golf. On the screen is a line at about 70 degrees, so the angle from here to there and upwards is about 70 degrees. This is a putter, and all these angles that I use, they're not definitive, they're not exactly right for every single person, they're just a general guide. The bottom line is a general guide. This is how it works. If I address the ball with a putter, then the shaft angle is about parallel to the line on the screen. That's what I call the bottom line. If I move the putter head back below that line or to the left of the line, then there could be a problem. As I see it, all golf shots from putting to driving, the same principles apply to all of those shots. With a putter, the golf ball is to the right of the line, this side of the line. Can you imagine any reason why you would ever want to take the putter head or the shaft a long way under the line? This way. You've now moved the putter head below the bottom line, but the ball is still above the line. You really need, on most shots, to keep the shaft and the head of the golf club above the line for the simple reason that's where the ball is. There's no magic to this. To me, the ball is above the line. You do not want the club head or the shaft to move below this bottom line, and it works for all golfers with nearly all clubs, but not all the time, obviously. Nothing in golf is so definitive that we can set a dead fast rule that everyone has to apply to. This is a guide. Shaft above the line because the ball's above the line. I'm going to show you on my computer screen now. One of my pupils and draw a line to the left of the shaft, and we will see if the club head or any part of the shaft goes to the left of the line, to the left of my bottom line at any part of the backswing. And it clearly hasn't. All the way to the top. The ball is to the right of this bottom line, and it makes a lot of sense to me, and hopefully will do to you, to keep the club head to the right of the line throughout the entire swing. All the way up and all the way down. You could do this using a mirror and just draw a line on the mirror and whatever club you're using, just extend the line above your head and have it parallel to the shaft, and then just practice looking in the mirror, keeping the whole of the club above the line. Like that. In Lizzie's first lesson, years ago now, her club head would come right the way over here, which is sort of okay for full shots because there is then time to recover, but for playing short shots there is no recovery time at all. So my idea of a golf swing is you set the club on the right line all the way to the top and all the way down, and then if you're playing a long shot or a short shot, you will still have the club head moving along the right line. And there's the club head and the shaft above the bottom line. So I'll change to a 7-iron now, and the principle's the same. There's a shaft above the bottom line. We do not want the shaft to move below the bottom line, because if it does go below the bottom line, the ball could quite easily now go flying out to the right. When they test golf clubs and balls on a machine, if you've seen one of those machines, then the club always goes back on the same line, like so, and it would never, or they would never, design a machine to bring the club round this way, because the ball would then go to the right. They then have to build into the machine a mechanism to bring the club back online to come down again. Now, how complicated is that? Why would they spend many more millions of pounds or dollars to build a machine that needs a correction? So they don't. It's there. Club head always to the right of the line, because that's where the ball is. That might be an oversimplification, but for most people I teach, it makes a huge amount of sense. Having addressed the ball 75% of the shot, keeping the club head above the bottom line, and we're now hiding the shaft as per one of my other videos, hiding the shaft. So we're now practicing 75% plus another 10%, 85% of the shot you can practice without even hitting a golf ball. You don't need to hit thousands of balls, you really do not. You need a mirror or a camera and hide the shaft by keeping the club above that line. Positive practice. I'll guarantee this will work. The line changes from club to club, and you've probably got, with a full set of golf clubs, 14 clubs in your bag, and this will apply to all of those golf clubs. With the driver, because the shaft is longer, the angle will change. Let's have a look at Ernie Els. Ernie Els, a very well respected golfer. And this angle now with a drive is about 144 degrees. I'll just put the angle on for you. There's no exact angles, but it's about that for it is for him, 44 degrees. And watch the club. It will now stay above the bottom line. There. Can't see the shaft. Club head above the line. All the way through. I took this film myself at the Masters. Goodness me, that was 15 years ago now. Seems like yesterday. And there's the club head and the shaft staying above the bottom line. Very, very important. This is now 85% of the shot sorted out. 85%. So I'll need to drive it now. And the shaft is now at a different angle because the club is a different angle. It's the way the club lies on the ground. You're not changing anything. The club is changing. So now we're going to swing back and keep the club head above the line. You can practice, as I said, with cameras or mirrors. Mirrors are good. Just take maybe a 6-iron, 7-iron, draw a line on a mirror, and then just practice keeping the golf club shaft above the line. Not too far above the line. I suppose we could have a top line as well, and the top line would be over here somewhere. This is about the bottom line and keeping the club above the bottom line. A lot of people, maybe you have these tour sticks that are fantastically versatile. They've got a little point on the end for sticking into the ground, and you could with the driver stick the stick into the ground at that angle, and maybe get a friend to stand and make sure that it is in the right place for you. Stick it into the ground, and then you've reproduced the line on the screen. Bottom line, not just for accountants. It works for all golfers with all clubs. The angle will change because the clubs themselves will change and people will change. Very tall people, very short people, juniors, but the basic principle stays exactly the same. We need the club to stay above the line for the simple reason the golf ball is above the line or to the right of the line. The club head comes this way, the ball can go that way. The club head goes that way, the ball can go that way. Perfect practice. Hide the shaft, club head above the bottom line. I hope this made sense to you. It will allow you to practice when the weather's not very good, and it's positive practice because you're practicing part of your golf swing. You're practicing the 75% plus the extra 10% for the takeaway, 85%. For example, if you stood to the ball with your feet very, very closed, then the club will probably come around here, and that's off the screen now. If you then try to keep the club above the line, you have a really, really strange swing. Feet pointing way left, you probably now find the club would come this way. So get your feet in position, knees in position, knee down to the ground nice and straight, arms hanging down quite loosely, and from a good stance just practice the 85%. Keep the club head above the bottom line, and if you can do that, you will certainly almost guarantee you'll play better golf. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much.